Good morning. Day 5/4.5 with that late start on the Saturday. We've had a night in the very welcoming confines of the Cluanie Inn. Well fed, well watered. See, if you're doing that Great Glen way, I thoroughly recommend you stay there or go for a meal there. It's like pub food. The pub food is good scran. It's like, it's not too expensive. It's the exact thing you really want on this trip, to be honest. It's like good quality pub food. That's what it is. So last night I had their fish and chips, which is a special Cluanie fish and chips with sole and prawns and cod, potato wedges and lemon, and also like chicken quesadilla. Oh, it was really good. Washed down a couple of pints, which needed for the disappointment of the Scotland game. And then this morning, goodness me, jammed Maol with absolutely everything possible in the breakfast menu. So yeah, fully recommend that. See, on the topic of food, don't do what I've done. Don't try and think you can avoid the rehydrated meals. Well, you can avoid the rehydrated meals, but don't do what I've done in the sense of avoiding them by going and holding a candle up to like the darkest corners of Amazon trying to get wet food in the style of those, you know, Jamie Oliver quinoa meals. You know, you can heat up in the microwave, because I heat them up in the jet boil. So I went on Amazon trying to find like bulk buy cheap versions of it. I say cheap versions, like the food's really nice. It's like Annabelle, one's called Annabelle's Kitchen or something like that. Coconut curry, phenomenal. And one was Fid, F-I-I-D, and they do a range of things. They're like vegan, and if you're into that, and they're really healthy, all natural ingredients and stuff, so I'm not slagging them off, but they're very weighty. So they're about 500 grams for those Annabelle ones and 400 grams for those Fids. In that resupply there at Cluanie, I must have added 6 kilograms at least to my pack, and I can feel it now. I didn't weigh my pack because I didn't want to know. I reckon it's probably heavier than it should be, because those rehydrated meals are expensive. You know, they're like £6, £7 per bag per meal, and if you're going, that adds up over the course of the trip. That said, I do have a go outdoors card, and if you have a go outdoors card at the moment, at the time of speaking, which is like June 2021, you can buy one, get one half price on those rehydrated packs of foods, like, you know, fire pot and all the rest of them. So, you know, it works out quite a lot cheaper if you're buying in bulk. So I've got 10 of those getting sent up to Kinlochewe, so my pack will be lighter later on, and meanwhile I'll just enjoy my gourmet dark corner of Amazon scran until Kinlochewe, which is fine. I've got the food probably wrong a bit. If you're not precious about water and you want to save weight, most of the time, give it a map check obviously, but most of the time you can get away with, you know, just having the vessel and going to water, because there is just an abundance everywhere you go. You're always going up Belaks or through glens, or, you know, up hills. It's really not too much of a drama. Maybe have 1 litre always spare, but I wouldn't go overboard. Today we're heading up from Loch Cluanie, which you might just be able to make up, up some Glen, don't know the name of, which is on this track so far, but set to get a lot soggier later on. Up to Glen Affric, which is going to head west into Morvich, where we've got a campsite. So yeah, two nights of decent accom before we have quite a few nights of no accom. After about 3.5k, the road ends. I've entertained the idea of going across that Belak in between the southern Glen of Stuc, just to cut out the dog leg, because it's quite a hefty dog leg going up to that Allt Bhuidhe, if that's the correct pronunciation. But that's what we're doing. We're going up there. So it's going to be quite a long day, but we're just praying it's not as boggy as the guide suggests, because the guide makes it out like it's big bog town. Oh, aye. If you're going up this way to Glen Affric on the the Great Glen Gate variant from Cluanie, it's kind of weird because it changes from this quite elaborate path to like bog, and you can't, just this path will stop and then a bog which doesn't look very well trod, and this path which I doubt is very well trod because it just goes to Glen Affric. I mean, most people come the Glen Affric way, or they come from Morvich, or you probably wouldn't get that much traffic through this way. And the bogs like that, fortunately it's quite dry so it's not too bad, but the bog for the large part is that, that light green moss. You can't really tell what the depth is below, Okay, sit rep, small sit rep. That over there, red dot, I can't even see it, so down so you'll be able to see it. That's the Allt hostel. We've come from that glen. You run, the path runs it, you can almost see it, it's probably that scar in the hill, into there. And then the dog leg runs down on the other side of this, crosses, over there. That's Bhuidhe. Yeah, you see it? It's about there. I can't see my own finger on the GoPro. So we've cut the corner of the river that runs north into Glen Affric, which means we're going to have a little river crossing, but I don't actually think, because of the conditions, because of the time of year, I don't think it's going to be bad. I think it's going to be quite a nice little river crossing, and we'll get into that Bhuidhe for lunch. Hear those birds gobbing off and swooping me. Someone will be able to tell me who they are by their song. I hope I'm not disturbing a nest or something like that, because I think they're that's not a friendly song. But I can't see, so I'm just giving it a wide berth. This is the river running through Glen Affric that you take the dog leg for, but the guide says you can cross it if it's not in spate, and there is ample opportunity to wade, jump, hop, take your shoes off. When it's not in spate, as you can see, there's not much really to it. It's very beautiful though. Bhuidhe. In we trot. Oh, it's smashing. Smashing me places. This must be someone. Oh, someone's house back in the day. Knock knock. Decent. Heading on the west, on the Glen Affric path to Morvich, and to our left, or south, is the Five Sisters of Kinlochewe, but you can't see them. It's low cloud and a little bit of rain, probably not enough to justify the waterproof, but I banged it on anyway because it looks like, well, it just keeps getting a little bit stronger, so eventually I will get soaked. Taking this road now for 6k into Morvich. We've just gone past the Glen house, which is run by the Edinburgh Uni. There was some Edinburgh Uni, pardons it, Edinburgh Uni students out there. I love sheep. Morning, day 6, Falls of Glomach day. It's meant to be a wet one, so I've taken some perhaps OTT preemptive measures. Stayed at Morvich campsite last night, which I'd recommend doing if you're coming up this way. Obviously you got to come up this way because we've joined the main route, but yeah, there's not much for the next couple of days, I don't think. So we took advantage of that. It was a bit, yesterday we were in two minds because we were coming across west, you know, to go back sort of northeast kind of direction, but we booked the campsite and it was nice to get a shower, and it's a nice little place. Mostly set up for caravans, but there is a good place, good area you can get pitched up for tenting and all. I'm always hesitant about campsites. I think it's because I've got some sort of like childhood trauma. I remember like camping as a kid with my dad and sisters in a campsite in Galloway, so I'm from the south of Scotland, and it was just an absolute midge fest. And I used to come back into school like after the weekend with like loads of bites and looked like I'd got a bit of leprosy or something like that. I'm surprised like social services weren't called. Okay, so that's where we came from, down in the Morvich campsite down there, and then there's like forest track. It is signposted. Just get my map there. It's signposted and signposted quite well, but there's a lot of forks all going off left and right, so it's just best to keep a wee eye on the map. And then there's quite a steep pull up from that little bridge, but it's nothing you can't do if you come this far. So the weather's come in obviously as anticipated, but you know, not too bad. We came from down there, I don't know how well you can see with the rain, and we're going up this here pass in Bhuidhe, which the Cape Wrath Trail is pretty much Bhuidhe's and walking through glens. Bhuidhe's are these old passes between mountains, typically like 400 to 500 metres in altitude at the top of them, and then you come up and you go down obviously. Greetings. Weather has, well, it's still dreek and the clag is in, but it's quite eerily still at the moment, and I think we're really coming up to the falls of Glomach. That's the path. A couple of sketchy bits, notably not for us. Although it is a wet day, it's not been overly wet, so the river isn't really going, but you do cross a sort of quite steep river that you have to kind of navigate across, and I imagine in Spate that's a bit tricky because it's a sharp fall like. And I think that's the road we're joining down there. Do a down climb first. Bridge 1. Bridge number 2, pretty cool. Yeah, so Falls of Glomach. I remember watching Hounds of Howgate's vlog doing that, and he seemed really excited for the day, and then when he was coming down, quite stressed after it, and I can see why, because I wouldn't want my dog doing any of that. It's slippy rock, but in terms of like for your average hill walker, it's the scrambling's minor. Yeah, it might be a different story if it's wetter than it has been for me today, but generally that's basic, and it's really beautiful as well. It's the right level of exhilaration, I'd say. think we'd have came up from that path there if we'd have taken the route past Bhuidhe yesterday. So we would have got here faster, but we'd have missed Falls of Glomach, which is not worth missing. So far today, we haven't seen a single soul, you know, considering the Falls of Glomach. Yeah, we've not got any hamlets even, or roads, but I just thought like people would be out doing the Falls of Glomach maybe, but we've had it all to ourselves. And I know most people do the Cape Raft Trail south to north, so there's less chance of bumping into people, and also most people do the version that goes through Glen and up to Knoydart. Haven't really seen anyone doing the Cape Raft Trail either on this whole trip so far at all. So bear in mind, I was up Ladder Bend like a month ago with my dad and a few friends, and that little stage between walking into Ladder Bend between Kinlochewe and Barrisdale, and about 3 people doing it, 3 different parties. So it's the second bivac of today, going up there. Today has been like a really good northbound day, so quite often, yesterday was one of them, and the day we went through the Glen forest, you're going west if you go our variant, and you feel like you're not really, well, you're doing the trail obviously and you're making up miles, but you don't feel like you're, pardon zip, you don't feel like you're mile munching quite so much, whereas today it's like north, up the bivac, north, up the bivac. The grimmest of weather is upon us, and has been upon us for the last, well, 20-30 minutes, so it's been a bit of a downpour, to be honest. But we're not far away from this bothy at all. You know, I should be getting eyes on it in a minute. We're coming up to like within 700, 800 metres, and at height I should be able to see it. We were going to actually head past, well, a little bit past this bothy in Maol, I think it's called. Again, pronunciation, please give me a pardon. But I just think, I mean, it's only like, we'll be there before 4 o'clock probably, but the weather and what with Jade's feet being saturated, I don't think that's wise to push on any further. So we could really use that bothy just to hang up clothes really, and then we'll camp outside. And hello, it's cleared up now, and look. Good times. The flask. I've been to some bothies before. I think this is my favourite. It's got a little story on the wall about how it came to be, and to be honest, they don't really know who created the first, who constructed it at first, because it predates census. It's they think even before like potentially the Jacobite rebellion in like the 18th century. That it's a good little well-maintained bothy, so whoever's responsible for that, take yesterday off. Good morning, day 7. Stayed in the vicinity of the Bhuidhe last night. Very epic Bhuidhe, and yeah, looking forward to today because this area is quite cool. It's quite remote, and obviously we started the day pathless because I don't know exactly what line we're supposed to be taking. It says on the guide that it's pretty much you pick up a path later on at Cluanie. This is pretty much just heather bashing for the first couple of miles, which I don't mind. It is a bit rainy and chilly this morning, but not it's not completely coming down. It's just that sort of drizzle that'll eventually soak you. So I've put on the Gore-Tex jacket. That's pretty good. That sky looks good. That sky not so much. And I can't really quite work out what we're gonna get. This is just past Cluanie, which is a nice little walk, and the board has met last night actually, and it has been ordained that we will go to Strathcarron for lunch, probably late lunch, looking at how far we've got to go. Fairly looking forward to that restaurant. I've been there once before and it's pretty good. Just stopped off for a coffee and a snack at Bhuidhe, Bhuidhe. If you do go the way which goes up Bernays, it's up there. You can see the path on the hill, and I think you march up quite high. You maybe get to about 600 or so metres. So, but we're heading into Strathcarron for some scran, long-awaited pub scran. Missed out at the Kintail Lodge because it was just a bit too far away after that long day. So looking forward to it, fairly looking forward to it. So it's back off the beaten track, I think. Heading up to that bilac there. I can see people possibly continuing on that track. And that'll take you, is it the 87, but a bit further down, so then you'd have to go on the main road for quite a while. So you're definitely better off taking this route, more direct route to Strathcarron. And it's not clear where you break track, because it doesn't look like an obvious bilac, to be honest. But eventually, as you can see, a track does. This is Lochinthura, if you're coming up this way. A bilac Alton Ruary to Strathcarron, so you know you're on the right way if you see that. So I don't know how much you can see on the camera, but that is the Bilac Naba, I believe. Cycled it with friends in 2010. Strathcarron there. I think they've got a train crossing. That's that noise you just heard. Afternoon. Just been to Strathcarron. Jade had fish and chips. I had venison burger, and it was top. And we had the fish, the smoked fish platter as well, and a cup of coffee and tray bakes as well. So definitely go there. Right now we're just on the sort of western side of the River Carron, going to Coulin, and then we're going to make our way up another Bielach, and at some point today find a place to camp. And it's been a long day because already it is 25.26 kilometers, so whatever is that, 16 or so miles, and 3 of those kilometers were going down that busy road there, and we had an early start as well. So, but we're feeling good. This is a nice flat like path to Coulin. You go this way. So this path we're on now heads up there. It's about 6:30, and I think we'll be looking to find somewhere to camp as soon as we reach that Bielach, and then that's taken us down into Torridon. So we've made really good progress today. It's like 35 kilometers, something like that. By the time we're up to the top of there, could be closer to 40. We've just felt good, and it going's been a bit easier certainly than yesterday. Good morning, day 8. That's a week done. It's a lovely morning. It's chilly, that's why I've got the rab on, because we camped at about 550 metres last night, so it was chilly. But take a look at the view. That is Bhuidhe and Leotac. We are expected at Kinlochewe for like late lunch to get resupplied. That's where I'm picking up my rehydrated food. So yeah, no more heavy pack, but no more gourmet lunches. So take the rough with the smooth. So there's 3 paths you can take at this point when you get up into, well, just before Bhuidhe and Leotac, and we've opted, like I say, to go to the Coulin Lodge way, which is pathless I think for a while, so we're on this kind of boggy stuff, but that's the way you go if you want to head back. I can't remember the name of the path. Back in the on the behind Skurru, I hope I said that right. we've been going about an hour and a half and we've not come that far, and we're doing that part of the trail that's unpathed, but I didn't think it would quite so this unpathed, because sometimes when it says it's unpathed on the Harvey maps, there is actually, like, you know, something you can follow, whereas with this we've maybe been looking for that to make the going easier and kind of been wasting time doing that, whereas now we've kind of learnt our lesson and we're just picking a mark on the map where we're meant to be going and straight lining it to there, and then again, just because that's easier, because otherwise if you just look for a path that doesn't exist, because perhaps nobody ever takes this route or hardly takes this route, then you're just wasting time and also wasting energy and morale. Just coming across now to hopefully meet the path that'll take us down to that Coulin lodge. We stopped a minute ago for coffee and shortbread, and the shortbread I got from the Strathcarron restaurant, it was an absolute brick, like excellent, absolutely excellent, a massive portion. It was superb. I was going to take a video and a photo. I should have taken a photo as well, but I didn't. But he was just taking order. Too busy jamming my hole, because it was just superb. Not enough superlatives for that. Especially when after that ordeal crossing the Torridon rock a minute ago there, like when it was mixed in with the heather, I thought I was going to fall down into the centre of there. Anyway, looking out for this path now, and once we get this path, it should be plain sailing. Found the path now. Well, I say path, it's coming and going, but it is the path down into Coulin Lodge. If you're looking at the options to coming into Kinlochewe and you're thinking, should I go around the back of Eniga, should I do the middle one or the one that comes back on itself a little bit, then back down near sort of to the Coulin Pass. If you take the middle one and you've only got the 1 in 40,000 Harvey map, it's a bit of an ask, because you're going through a boulder field essentially. A boulder field you can't really see because the heather's covering it at large parts. You don't really have the detail to really nav it, so you're having to go point to point with the GPS, and that's not really taking you over the best possible route. I never saw, I mean, it says pathless obviously, but sometimes you see deer paths. I saw very few of those, so we're up and down, like making really slow progress over that morning. So just want to consider. That being said though, you do get some stunning views like we did of, again, I'm going to have to check the pronunciation of this, so Leatach, or however you say it, and also Beniga. How cool are the trees around here? So if you do come this way, you will get some cool trees. Not really sure what those are called. Some tree spotter will have to fill me in. Minted wee house. One excellent little place the Coulin estate is. You can't see the view, but bet the view of Beniga is absolutely tip top. Could not beat that. Coulin estate. Nice. Cool mountain. Another note on the culinary front, if you're gonna do that thing, like, you know, buy those merchants or those Jamie Oliver quinoa sachets, which are quite nice. You'll need to bring something to go with them. Some sauce, nick some stuff from Witherspoons, like, or buy a little chili bottle or something like that. Just something, because once you get down it's a proper slog. They are tasty, but it's just they're a bit dry. They can be a bit dry without sauce, or just something to go with it. Top tip. From whence we came. Oh, I wish I was doing that today. But it's a good day to be up there. Smashing day. Or there. Then you go. Must be some mean streets. Stuc. Quick stop off at Kinlochewe, heading out now to the heights of Kinlochewe, where there ought to be some pitches, some good pitches, some better pitches than last night anyway, for us to have a nice night's sleep. And also looking forward to bathing my feet because they're really hot, and I think I've got like bits of heather and the Torridon stone stuck in the side of my my ankles and toes.